I'm Rachel, and I'm 35 years old. I have been in a marriage with James for nearly a decade. Our marriage has been strong, but recently it feels like there's been a gap. The routine had become a part of our relationship, and I sensed that we needed to explore new avenues to reignite the initial excitement that connected us. During a conversation with my younger sister, I had a significant realization. Lucia, at 30, had consistently displayed a greater level of extroversion and confidence compared to me. Her approach to life, filled with freedom, intrigued me, and I found myself contemplating the idea of introducing a third person into our dynamic. What if that individual was Lucia? The thought both frightened and intrigued me. I found myself wondering how James and Lucia might respond if I were to present them with something so unexpected. I shook my head, attempting to dismiss that thought, but curiosity had already taken root in my mind. That evening at dinner, I chose to bring up the idea with James. In a subtle manner, I was uncertain about his reaction, but it was important for me to understand his perspective. Connection, I began, attempting to keep it light. What are your thoughts on couples who explore new experiences together in their relationship? Consider ways to incorporate another individual into the situation. James glanced at his plate, taken aback by my question. Are you referring to a group of three? He inquired, raising his eyebrows. Well, yes, something along those lines, I responded, feeling a bit anxious. It's merely a thought, not something to take too seriously. I wonder if something like that could assist us in breaking the routine. He appeared to contemplate for a moment before responding. It really varies based on the circumstances. Is there someone on your mind? My heart raced. I needed to share what I had been thinking. I'm not quite sure. Perhaps we could consider someone we have confidence in, such as Natalie. James opened his eyes in surprise, remaining silent. His reaction kept me wondering. In the following days, the concept was present in our discussions. James appeared to be contemplating it, but we hadn't revisited the topic. He inquired whether I had erred by bringing it up. One evening, while we were watching TV, James spoke up. If Natalie was on board, correct? Are you interested in pursuing this? He inquired with a sense of gravity. His question caught me off guard, yet it also inspired a sense of courage within me. Yes, but only if you are also at ease with the idea. I respect your choices and don't want to impose anything on you. I remained silent. He let out a slow breath. I could think about it, but I would need to understand Natalie's perspective first. James's openness to the possibility encouraged me to move forward. Have a conversation with my sister. He asked Natalie to join him for coffee. We had always shared a strong bond, but discussing something so personal made me feel a bit uneasy. I understood that she was not the kind to judge, yet I still felt a sense of nervousness. Natalie, I have something on my mind that I'd like to discuss with you. I began by searching for the appropriate words gradually, ensuring that I didn't come across as overly serious or uneasy. She regarded me with a blend of surprise and amusement. Are you suggesting I be part of this new experience with you and James? She inquired, attempting to suppress a smile. That's understandable, but it's important to consider your own comfort with the idea. I responded, feeling a bit shy. To my surprise, Natalie responded with a laugh and said, Rachel, I never expected you to suggest something like this, but I have to say that the idea is starting to make sense to me. We dedicated time to discussing how the situation would unfold. I found it necessary to set clear guidelines to help everyone feel secure and at ease. I expressed to Natalie that I hope this doesn't impact our bond as sisters. She expressed her commitment to honoring all boundaries and emphasized that she would avoid any actions that might negatively impact James or me. That evening, I discussed with James the conversation I had with Natalie. I felt a sense of relief at his receptiveness, though I could see that he was experiencing some nervousness. As the day approached, I experienced a blend of anticipation and anxiety despite my initial excitement. I started to experience a range of emotions. I felt a sense of anticipation about the chance to break away from my usual routine and discover new experiences with James. Conversely, I found myself overwhelmed by my fears. What changes might occur if James started to view Natalie from a new perspective? What if she began to experience deeper emotions for him? Would I be capable of managing what was about to unfold? Natalie appeared composed, as usual. She reached out a few days ago to check if everything was prepared and to confirm that I was still progressing with the idea. Rachel reassured me that everything would be fine, suggesting we take a moment to relax and appreciate our surroundings, though her tone reflected her usual concern. James appeared to be quite anxious. Even though I attempted to conceal it, I understood him well enough to see that he was concerned about my feelings. One night, as we were preparing for sleep, I chose to bring up the matter. Do you see the value in this perspective? I hope you consider doing it for yourself as well. Yes, I communicated with him. Observing his expression in the dim light, he held my hand with a light grip. Rachel, I want to proceed because I have confidence in you. But it's important that you feel certain as well. This is something that will be effective if we both feel at ease with it. Her answer provided some comfort, if only for a brief time. However, the unease in my stomach persisted, signaling that I was approaching a boundary I had never contemplated before. Ultimately, we concluded that the most effective approach to handle the situation would be to organize it as a meaningful evening. Lucia proposed that we host dinner at our house to foster a comfortable environment and encourage connection. It appeared to be a reasonable decision, so we began our efforts. I dedicated the afternoon to methodically organizing the house. I set up the space with aromatic candles and soft music, ensuring everything was in order. This will be an interesting experience. You'll notice Lucia shared her thoughts with me. James was in the kitchen preparing the wine glasses when Lucia entered. I observed that his gaze lingered on him for a moment longer than typical. I reminded myself not to overanalyze the situation, yet I still experienced a hint of jealousy. The dinner started with a calm atmosphere. We discussed everyday topics. We discussed work, future plans, and shared some memories from our childhood. Everything appeared typical with Lucia, yet there was an underlying tension that was noticeable. Each time our eyes met, I sensed the significance of the moment ahead of us. Lucia, in her authentic manner, initiated conversation with a surprising remark. It seems we all understand the purpose of our gathering. Is it time to acknowledge that this dinner holds more significance than we might be letting on? Her honesty brought a sense of lightness to the moment, easing the tension for both James and me. As the night went on, the wine helped everyone feel more at ease. Lucia started engaging with James in a lighthearted manner that I had supported. Your husband has a notable appreciation for wine, Rachel. I believe he has a solid appreciation for various things. She gave James a knowing glance. Even though her words were casual, I noticed a quickening in my heartbeat. I was curious about what it would feel like to witness a connection form between James and someone I deeply trusted, my sister. After dinner, we transitioned to the living room. The dim lights, the soft music, and the relaxed atmosphere set the stage for what was about to unfold. Lucia took a seat beside James on the sofa as I remained standing in front of them, observing. Rachel, do you feel confident about this decision? Lucia spoke to me with a seriousness I hadn't encountered from her before. I nodded, though I felt conflicted inside. Yes, I am confident in my decision, I responded, attempting to steady my thoughts. James glanced at me, seeking reassurance in my expression. I wanted to ensure that he wasn't feeling pressured, but I also needed to understand his willingness. At last, I spoke up. I believe it's time to allow things to unfold naturally, I said, sipping a glass of wine and offering him a taste to help ease my nerves. Lucia approached James and placed a hand on his shoulder, offering a gentle gesture of support. It was a modest yet meaningful action. James stayed close, and I experienced a range of emotions that were difficult to comprehend. The mood in the living room shifted noticeably in just a few moments. The soft glow of the candles created subtle shadows on the walls, and the music, now almost inaudible, felt like the sole observer of the moment ahead. Lucia was sitting next to James, exuding a sense of calm assurance. I felt a blend of nervousness, curiosity, and a sense of longing as I stood before them. Lucia shifted her posture slightly and, in her usual relaxed manner, initiated conversation to fill the silence. James, are you prepared for this? I approach everything with full commitment. His voice carried a hint of challenge, yet also a sense of assurance, as if he aimed to ensure we were all aligned in our understanding. James glanced at me, seeking a final indication of support. For a moment, our gazes met, and I sensed a pause in the flow of time. Despite the uncertainties I faced, I understood that retreating was not an option. I offered a subtle nod and he appeared to ease a bit. Lucia then moved closer to James and bonding moment. It was a gentle kiss that felt more like an affirmation than an expression. I took note of everything, working to understand the emotions that were developing within me. I didn't feel jealousy per se, but there was an unsettling feeling about witnessing my sister and my husband together like that. Despite that, there was an unusual intrigue that held me still, preventing any action on my part. James acknowledged the kiss. James, despite his shyness, was clearly mindful of my presence and the sensitivity of the situation. Lucia, however, managed the situation with a remarkable ease. Rachel, I want us to engage in this experience together rather than you feeling like an observer. Her words helped me understand that my insecurity was holding me back. I took a deep breath, approached them, and sat across from James. He, visibly relieved, took my hand, perhaps to reassure himself of my presence beside him. Lucia looked at me and nodded reassuringly, as if reminding me of our shared understanding. James, this is an opportunity for us to grow together. Rachel, please believe me. Even though his words offered reassurance, he recognized that the situation had reached a critical juncture. The evening brought emotional intensity as we navigated the unfamiliar territory of connection and vulnerability. With each action representing a step into unfamiliar territory, James was attentive, ensuring that I felt at ease throughout our time together. Lucia, in contrast, approached the situation with a level of confidence that was uniquely her own. As the night progressed, the walls we had built over time started to weaken. Lucia and James shared a chemistry I hadn't expected, one that revealed layers of our dynamic I hadn't considered, which I had not foreseen. Even though I understood this was part of the arrangement, I felt a sense of unease when I noticed how my sister was able to bring out a more playful side of James, one that had been absent for quite some time. However, whenever I sensed that the situation was shifting, Lucia glanced in my direction as if she wanted to confirm my presence in the moment. Rachel, remember that this is for all three of us. Lucia looked at me and nodded reassuringly, as if reminding me of our shared understanding. Her gesture provided reassurance, yet it also highlighted the complexity of the situation I was navigating. James, however, found himself caught between us. Each action he took appeared to reflect his feelings for me, while also indicating a journey of discovery with Lucia. At times, I experienced a sense of security and connection with both, while in other moments, I sensed that I had opened a door that might remain ajar indefinitely. As the night drew to a close, a stillness enveloped the house. Lucia drifted off in the guest room as James and I headed to our own room. We didn't engage in conversation. Each of us was preoccupied with our own reflections. The next morning, as I was making coffee, I recognized that I needed to reflect on what had occurred. James entered the kitchen shortly after, wearing a calm yet contemplative expression. "What are your thoughts on your current situation?" I spoke up, interrupting the quiet moment. He exhaled and glanced in my direction. I'm not sure how to articulate it. It was different, but what truly matters is your emotional experience, Rachel. I hope this doesn't alter our relationship. His words provided reassurance, yet they also prompted me to acknowledge that while nothing was amiss, there had been a shift within me. We had reached a turning point, and while I didn't regret it, I understood that our relationship would change moving forward.